Hey guys, I want to take a minute and continue to address the ever-changing direction we're going in with regards to the coronavirus and a couple other things that are going on around the world. So you have to forgive me. This is a bit of an on-the-spot video, but I did want to address a couple of things. I'll be referring to my notes, and so I know that. Obviously, in the past couple of days, there have been a lot of events canceled. The NBA canceled their entire season. March Madness gone. Disney World, Disneyland shutting down. And so it's important to realize why that's happening. And so I think that what they know today is that in order to stop the spread of the coronavirus, people are taking measures, be it schools, companies, whatever, to minimize the contact between people, and they're calling this social distance. Okay, so the less people are together, then obviously the less likely it is that people will catch those things. So I'm mentioning this because it kind of appears that the entire world is crashing, and we're just kind of closed for business. And that's just not the case, number one. Number two, it's important to understand why that's happening. And it is for no other reason than to minimize the potential spread of the coronavirus. So let's talk about our industry for a second. So mortgage rates, all right? So mortgage rates we're dropping anyway. And so that is before any kind of policy that may or may not be enacted by the federal government to stimulate the economy or to drive those rates down even further. So mortgage rates are really favorable right now. Now, mind you, that is offset by the fact that has surrounded the mortgage industry forever, which is who is going to benefit from these rates? Well, people that can provide a down payment, just like before, people whose credit score is favorable, just like before, and thirdly, people that have job security. Okay, so I mentioned in a previous email that really the industries being affected directly are, well, we're retail. Things are beginning to ship from China now as the coronavirus kind of levels off in that country. But it's also people, destinations, like Disney World and Disneyland, hotels, things that the air travel obviously are impacted, and so as those industries kind of come out of this pandemic, things will start to improve. The question is, will those industries incur layoffs as a result of that? If that happens, there could be an impact to our industry, as I mentioned before, but right now, that's simply not the case. So the stock market, all right, so huge drops in the Dow recently. This was started by an oil war and not necessarily the coronavirus. Now, it doesn't help that the coronavirus is and then the panic surrounding this disease is fueling fears that directly translate into a drop in the Dow and the stock market, but it's not solely based on the coronavirus. Okay, so here's the next steps. I think that while the country loves a good panic, we love a good set of chaos. I think that, like a lot of things, people are going to start to get corona fatigue. And what I mean by that is that people are just going to get sick and tired of things being at a standstill and life not going on as normal. Okay? So as Americans, we want an instant fix to things. And so the response to any kind of disease like this, which is, well, you just have to let it wait its course, does not always sit well with us, right? We want to be moving, we want action, we want resolution. And so because of that, psychologically, I think people are going to start to get sick and tired of not doing anything, and especially if they themselves are not being impacted by the virus. So I read a great article in today's paper about real estate, and there's a company out there called CoreLogic. You've probably heard of them. they provide data analytics for our industries and some other industries. And the chief economists suggest that really, to sweat it all down, nothing wins out more than money. And when you take a look at all of the great things that our economy has enjoyed in the last quarter, things like very, very low unemployment rate, low interest rates, the closings on homes, especially new builds in the first quarter, have been phenomenal, have just been phenomenal. And so that creates momentum. And for all of that to come to a screeching halt defies logic. Okay, and so especially if you yourself aren't being physically impacted by the coronavirus. All right, so the chief economist at CoreLogic thinks that during this temporary period of panic, that in the end, money will always win out, and money in the form of continued low unemployment, continued low interest rates, and a surge in builder business. And I've mentioned that as far back as 6 months ago, that this year was going to see a surge in builder business, up about 8% in Texas, compared to a deficit of 2019 of about 2%. Okay, so I think that that will still continue. So let's talk about what we can do in our own business and what may change in the near term. I think that it is natural for sellers to think that they wouldn't want the general public coming through their home during an open house. So sellers may push back on you doing open houses for them. On the flip side, buyers themselves also may be hesitant to go into public spaces, someone's home, and just hit open house after open house after open house because of fears of catching the coronavirus. So I think that by and large, open house volume may see a bit of a slowdown. So that being said, what is the mission moving forward? Go virtual with anything and everything you possibly can. Reassess what you do today in person and try and create a virtual environment. Okay, virtual tours for open houses, great idea. If it's nothing more than you doing a video like I'm doing today, all these are uploadable to YouTube from your phone, from your tablet. Do a quick video, and that could serve as your open house. It's all about how you market it as well. You might say something like, in light of the recent concerns, and you don't even have to say what those concerns are. In light of recent concerns, I'm uploading a virtual tour for you for my open house at 123 Main Street. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you are holding in-person listing presentations and the seller is particularly nervous about that, you might try a Google Hangout. Google Hangout, you can do virtual calls for free. You might do FaceTime, things that take the place of an in-person meeting. I don't normally advocate for replacing an in-person meeting, but this could be a tremendous opportunity for you guys as realtors to address a very real concern amongst the public, and then secondarily demonstrate the fact that you can pivot and adapt to what's going on. Okay, if you're a professional realtor, then this sends out a message of it's not business as usual. We've got to figure out different ways to do our business, and I, as the professional realtor, respect how you, the client, might want to adapt, and so I'm willing to do that. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I will do more of these as the need arises, but I don't want you guys to panic. There is really no logical reason as to why a person would not want to continue to buy or sell a home unless consumer confidence takes a hit, unless mortgage rates increase, unless builders stop building, And I just don't see that those are big ships to turn. Those are not speedboats that can turn on a dime. Those are big things to shift that will take a long time to do so. So I don't think in the near term, at least, we're going to feel the effects of those things. So I'm saying all this because you guys need to go out there and into the public and interact with potential buyers and sellers with confidence, not panic, not fear. It is business as usual in our industry. So if you have any other questions on how you should present that to customers, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.